I think it's fundamentally different. I think the president started telling people yesterday the deal was essentially done. Several cabinet members were doing outreach as well. And I think the bottom line is the two sides had gotten pretty close over the last few days on the basic elements of the deal, which was what are we going to do on terms of tariffs and what are we going to do in terms of the ag purchases. Most of the other elements, including market access, liberalization, the issues around IP and enforcement, and many of the other issues, including currency manipulation, had been addressed. So it was about getting these things confirmed and tightened up, and I think they moved quickly. They saw the opportunity, and I think we're all excited that a phase one deal is going to be done imminently. More work to be done, certainly, in the relationship. There are issues that were not going to be addressed in this agreement, but it's a good starting point, brings far greater certainty to the most important commercial relationship in the world, and I think it's going to help the U.S. economy heading into the holiday season. So we're welcoming it for sure.
Myron, you mentioned that there was some discussion about tariffs. What do you know is going to happen there? Is this a delay? Is this no tariffs? What is it?
Well, what I've heard from administration sources is that it will go beyond just suspending the December 15th tariffs. That, in fact, there are going to be tariff cuts. I think we'll hear about that in more detail tomorrow, but certainly the Chinese side, from discussions I had with Vice Premier Li He and including others in the government in the last 24 hours, the expectation was to go beyond that. And what I heard from the administration was confirmation, in fact, that we're going to have deeper cuts than just a suspension of December 15th. That's good news to the American consumers, to farmers, to manufacturers. And, of course, it has to be that we get something in return for the tariff cuts, which means much stronger IP protections. We've been pushing for language around trade secrets and forced technology issues. Some of that will be dealt with, hopefully, and we'll see the details soon, I expect.
You know, process was one thing that tripped us up in the fall, Myron. Do we have to go through the whole, where is this going to be signed, who is going to sign it, or can this be done at the ministerial level?
Well, actually, it can be done in Washington. Technically speaking, the ambassador has the authority to sign. There are 4 people in China who can sign this agreement, the president, the premier, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Wang Yi, and actually Ambassador Sui. So technically, it could get done with the signing ceremony by the ambassador. So we don't have to have a trip to China. It could happen that way, but we could also see a signing ceremony in Washington.
What happens with the next phases? Are we still looking at phase 2, phase 3? What's left over to be dealt with going forward?
Well, I think it's been pretty clear in my conversations with the key U.S. negotiators that there's more work to be done. Significant tariff reduction in phase 1 would be helpful, but we want to see an improvement in the business environment in China. We'll see some efforts in phase 1 to deal with financial services and agricultural access and purchases. And we'll see hopefully some language on IP protection. But we've got more work to do to improve the overall relationship on China. And we've got to deal with some issues that are not going to probably be addressed to the full extent. Issues like subsidies, industrial policies that China has in place, some of the regulatory issues, and, of course, issues around data and cross-border data flows. So there's plenty of work ahead that has to be addressed. These are going to be issues core to China's economic model, so they're more difficult. Will take more time to get done. But if we're going to improve our relationship further and strengthen it and deepen it, we're going to have to get to those issues in a phase 2 or in a phase 2 and 3 negotiation.
And just to be clear, Myron, do you see that phase happening before the election?
Well, you know, that's the big question mark. I hope so. I hope they build off the momentum. Look, this has been a great week. We've got the USMCA agreement moving in the right direction. We hope that will be taken up in the House for a vote next week and moved to the Senate from there. We see now phase 1 agreement, which has been discussed, and now finally we think it's going to get done. So let's build on this momentum and get more work done. Let's not wait to the elections, because that's a long time from now, and you just don't know what's going to go on. And you know this is a complex relationship. There are other factors in the relationship that have added some intensity to it over the last 6 months. So we hope that they will move forward quickly. We're certainly in communicating that in China. I'll be there early January to meet with the leadership in China. So I'm certainly hoping we'll keep that that momentum going, and not wait another year. That would be a mistake.